Welcome to part 1 of the Keyword Research module of Search Engine Optimization. My name is Paul Wilson. Before we begin, I want to talk about the purpose of this module by sharing a story with you. A few years ago, my business partner and I decided to do SEO on an educational website. The purpose of the site was to drive qualified leads to universities that were willing to pay a premium price for the lead. We had successfully SEO'd several websites that did the same thing but for insurance companies. Due to our success in the insurance industry, we were confident that we knew the right keywords to have our educational sites be found in the search engines. Well, we were very, very wrong. We painfully learned that in the insurance industry, you could generate a lot of leads by ranking on broad keywords, but in the educational industry, our website needed to be found on very specific terms. Unfortunately, we wasted a lot of time and money before we learned this lesson. Due to this significant mistake, I learned that keyword research should be the very first step someone takes when starting any SEO campaign. Often people skip understanding this step because, like me, they think they know the keywords that they want to rank for in the search engines. I have found that doing the right research first will always be a benefit in SEO. So I hope that once we are done, you will see the value of doing keyword research. I have set up this module in a way that it will provide a clear plan on how to find the keywords that really make a difference and hopefully help you avoid making the same mistakes that I did. As I have taught people about SEO, I've learned that there can be some confusion on exactly how a keyword works with search engine optimization. Therefore, before we actually start into the process of keyword research, it will help to first build a solid foundation of how keywords are essential to SEO. So let's dive in and look at exactly what a keyword is. A keyword can just be a word, yet it can also be a descriptive phrase used to describe what you are searching for. To help illustrate this, let's say we are in the Sharpie business and we have a website that sells an arrangement of Sharpie pins. We obviously want to rank on what people are going to type into the search box in order to find our product. Some words we might come up with are Sharpie, marker, pen, or a highlighter. These types of words represent the root of a keyword and are often called base keywords. Yet having a base keyword doesn't tell us much of what the search user is looking for. By adding more information to the keyword, we can quickly understand more of what is being searched for. The sort of words which provide additional insight are commonly called modifiers. Modifiers further develop and clarify the meaning of the keyword. Let's take, for example, the top modified keyword, Sharpie Mug Tutorial. This is a hot trend right now on Pinterest where people are showcasing their permanent marker artwork on white mugs. If a user queried just for the keyword Sharpie in order to find more information on how to create these mugs, our Sharpie product site may not be the best fit for them. So understanding the intent of the search is actually quite valuable to anyone doing SEO, and modifiers play a big role in doing this. Adding additional action words or adjectives to a keyword base and modifier further enhance the keyword meaning and are often called keyword extenders. All three of these elements are used to help dig deeper into understanding the purpose of the keyword. It's important to note that search engines don't need the base, modifier, and extension to be in order. You can mix up the order without concern of mixing up the search engines. You can see this is the case with highlighter black no bleed by. The user could have easily used the keyword by black highlighter no bleed, and the search engines would have understood the query in the same manner. Now that you understand base, modifier, and extender keywords, it's important to understand the difficulty of ranking these keywords in the search engines. One easy way to do this is to consider the popularity of a keyword, or to put another way, how many search queries does the keyword receive on a monthly basis? Then also taking into consideration the length of the keyword or how many words are in a single keyword. When you look at these two factors, you see an interesting phenomenon called the keyword curve. The keyword curve basically shows a contrast of search volume between the short keywords, often referred to as head keywords, and the more detailed but longer keywords, more commonly known as long tail keywords. What's interesting is that even though the head keywords receive a lot of search volume each month, there are not as many of these keywords versus how many long-tail keywords there are. So in short, there is significantly more long-tail keywords, but they don't receive anywhere close to the traffic that you see with head keywords. If you have been in SEO even for a short time, you will hear and read a lot about the long-tail strategy, which is going after a lot of long-tail keywords at one time in order to get the same amount of traffic that one or two head keywords would bring in. Many find this desirable since there usually isn't much competition with long-tail keywords, and so you can see results a lot quicker. This isn't a bad strategy to execute, but it's also not very balanced. And I will go more into how you really should have a focus on a good group of head keywords and then a strong list of long-tail keywords. However, before we jump into strategy, we need to first build our keyword list. And a great place to start is with keyword objectives. Now, I could give you hypothetical examples of Sharpie pins to walk you through SEO, but personally, I am the type who likes case studies and real-world examples to illustrate exactly how to do SEO. So for this and future modules, I will be using HerbalDoc, which sells herbal remedies online, as an example of how to do SEO. HerbalDoc is actually a site I built eons ago and never really did anything with it. A few months back, my business partner and I decided to dust it off, redesign it, and SEO it to see how it will do. As I've built each of the SEO modules for Pluralsight, I have, in tandem, worked on HerbalDoc's SEO. So I'm not just sharing theory with you, but I'm actually telling you the stuff I've done with HerbalDoc, and I'm also providing my past experience with other sites I've worked on. Hopefully by sharing all this, I can provide a complete and in-depth understanding of search engine optimization. When we decided to relaunch HerbalDoc, I sat down and looked at the marketing objectives that I wanted to achieve with the site. One common mistake people make when starting keyword research is that they only consider traffic as the main deciding factor for what keywords to utilize. Obviously, traffic is an important metric, and it will be something that we focus on. However, understanding your site's purpose truly is the genesis of keyword research. So when I begin a new project, I look at 3 specific areas to use a guide in building a lasting website and business. The first area is centered on the website's reach. What sort of target market are we going after? What sort of new markets do we want to open? And how are we going to reach the influencers in these markets? The next section to consider is what you want to establish with your website. What strategic partnerships would be important to have? What marketing channels should you set up? And what will it take to establish the brand you want with your site? The third thing I consider is what can my website increase? Obviously, increasing revenues is nice, but also credibility, visibility, and market share might be something you desire to increase. Finally, when you take all these things into consideration, the ultimate goal is how these efforts will affect the bottom line of your business. In my humble opinion, this is what marketing is all about, providing strong profits for the company. So with this in mind, what I have done is broken down HerbalDoc's marketing objectives into these 3 categories and shared a few here. So when we considered who we wanted HerbalDoc to reach, we ultimately decided that our focus needed to be on the individuals who were not only health conscious, but were concerned about the health of others. So focusing on moms, alternative medicine practitioners, and influential herbal bloggers seemed to fit quite well with our reach objective. There was a lot we considered when looking at what HerbalDoc needed to establish, yet it ultimately came down to establishing a reputable and authoritative brand that can be trusted. The herbal industry has been sullied by snake oil salesmen, and we felt if we were able to establish a strong relationship of trust, that everything else we wanted would fall in place. So with these objectives in mind, what I have done is distilled each objective into bite-sized ideas. Each idea shows a different theme of the objective. Don't mistake these ideas for actual keywords. Obviously, ranking on keywords like additional products or local customers wouldn't do much for your business. The point of this exercise is more to divide the different objectives into single ideas. By doing this, it actually helps in finding the right keywords. Here you can see that I have taken the different ideas and attached possible keywords to go along with the idea. I mentioned on the last slide that ranking on local customer might not help you, but being found on keywords like herb store in Denver or pick up herb products can be helpful. I have no idea the amount of traffic each of these keywords provide, and right now I don't really care. Instead, I'm only interested in coming up with keywords that run parallel with my marketing objectives and goals. I strongly recommend digging into each of your objectives and seeing exactly what keywords you can find. Often these sort of keywords have lower traffic but higher conversion, which can help you chase down the ultimate goal of profitability. When looking at doing keyword objectives, here are several questions to consider. First, what keywords reach your demographic? Knowing who you are targeting is half the battle. I strongly believe that there are many doing SEO who only care about the traffic numbers and not the faces behind those numbers. The more you know about those searching for your website, the easier it is to provide them something they actually want. Second, what keywords bring you closer to reaching your marketing initiatives? Contrary to what some may believe, SEO is actually a derivative of marketing and not something wholly separate. I've worked with companies that throw their SEO people into their IT departments and give little thought to how SEO can directly impact marketing. Though SEO can be technical, when it comes to looking at the impact of SEO, it will always be in the realm of marketing. Finally, what keywords increase the business bottom line? As stated earlier, profitability can be seen with keywords that have low traffic but high conversion. Assess each of your keyword objectives and determine what keywords actually bring about the greatest value overall for your company. Keyword objectives can definitely point you in the right direction, but they can also help you fall into the trap of researching industry terms. Often, what is common lingo in your company isn't what people really search for when trying to find your website. To overcome this pitfall, I am going to walk you through a process that I went through with HerbalDoc that uncovered 26,000 keywords. This may sound like a daunting task, but it only took me about a half an hour to generate this keyword list. The first step is to create a starter list. Basically, a starter list is a simple spreadsheet that lets you store all the keywords you find. When you create this list, you will want to add the keyword objectives you have already come up with, and also brainstorm further keywords you might think are good to rank on. You will see how this list is an important step in the keyword research process, particularly as we do further research. However, right now, all you are concerned about is listing the keywords you can think of and find. Next, you want to add modifiers and extenders to the keywords you have brainstormed. An easy way to do this is with Ubersuggest. This handy tool takes full advantage of the Google mechanics that provide suggestions as you enter in your query. However, Ubersuggest looks at all the variations that Google provides. You can see I started with the base keyword herbal remedies. Ubersuggest then provides every possible combination that Google can think of. One thing I really like about Ubersuggest is that it lets me drill down into the different keywords. You can see that I selected herbal remedies for headaches, and it provided more keywords. But then I continued to go down the rabbit hole by clicking on more and more keywords. By doing this, I found more keywords that I felt would be helpful, so I added them by simply clicking on the green plus circle on the left of the keyword. This adds the keyword to a basket of keywords found on the right side. Now, by selecting the Get button above my list of chosen keywords, Ubersuggest provides a copy and paste box that allows me to copy all the keywords. A final step that I do before moving on is to actually break apart all the keywords in the starter list by looking for the base, modifier, and extender of each keyword and adding them to a new sheet in the Excel file. The last step I did really helps with the next step of mixing the keywords together in order to find even more keywords. To do this, I use merge words. You can see here that merge words provides 3 columns. Since each keyword is already partitioned into a base, modifier, and extender, I can put them into the different columns provided by merge words. The first column I use for base keywords, the second for modifiers, and the third for extenders. Once I did this, I clicked on the merge button. As you can see by going through this process, I was able to generate 26,800 keywords. All the keywords I generated previously to merge words were duplicates, and I deleted them out of the starter list when I compiled the merge words keyword list. Now that I have a comprehensive list, I am ready to actually look at the traffic of these keywords. To do this, I use Google's keyword tool. Yet there are 3 things I need to talk about before showing how to use Google's keyword tool. First, there is a fundamental flaw in using the keyword tool for SEO, which is that Google built this tool for AdWords. AdWords, or also known as pay-per-click, is the advertising seen in Google's search engine on the top and right side. Due to this fact, a lot of what is shown is not very helpful for SEO, which I will demonstrate shortly. The second thing to understand is that the traffic numbers Google shares here are just estimations. One might think that these estimations are fairly close to the real traffic numbers, but from my personal experience this is not the case. In fact, I found their numbers to be quite off. In part 2 of this module, I will show how I minimize this problem. Yet if the numbers are not accurate, it might seem that using Google's keyword tool may be a waste of time. However, I use this step more to weed out the keywords that have no traffic. I am sure I miss out on a few keywords that actually do have some significant traffic, but with so many keywords to analyze, it actually isn't such a bad thing. I am now just trying to whittle down my starter list to only the best keywords. The final thing to be aware of is that Google can only analyze 2,000 keywords at one time, so it took me a couple hours to go through 26,000 keywords. It's not necessary to do this many keywords, but I enjoy hunting for a diamond in the rough, so I tend to go overboard on my starter list. With that understanding, let me walk you through how I use Google Keywords tool. First, I like to check the box about only looking for closely related search terms. However, if I'm doing more than 200 keywords at once, I will get an error when I begin a search. Google doesn't necessarily make it clear why there is an error, but when I uncheck this box and run my search again, I don't have an issue. I personally don't want to query almost 27,000 keywords in batches of 200. Yet I find I get better results if I can do my keyword hunting in groups of 200 or less. Next, I choose the country I'm focusing my SEO efforts on. I do not recommend selecting the global option, which is all countries. I like to focus my SEO efforts on a local level, which is by country and not on a global scale. I find I receive better data doing this. After choosing the country, I select the language. Again, I like to focus the language around the keywords I'm trying to rank for. The next option is a fairly recent addition to the keyword tool, which is actually really cool, and it is the ability to focus the keywords according to the device being used. What is extremely interesting here is that Google doesn't give the option to focus on all devices. Instead, I can focus on desktop and laptop or mobile. The reason Google is doing this is that SEO is actually different for mobile. This course is around desktop/laptop SEO. I plan to talk with Pluralsight about doing a mobile SEO course down the road. Currently, though, mobile garners about 20% of the traffic globally. This is definitely significant and growing, yet desktop and laptop still makes up for 80% of the traffic, and that is why I'm focusing on it first. I foresee the day when a mobile-first approach will be quite common in SEO, but that day has not yet arrived. Finally, the last step before I run a search is to uncheck the default broad match type and select exact. The difference between the two is that a broad match type is search volume for the specific keyword, along with synonyms and other related terms, whereas exact match type is only the traffic of the keyword and very close variations. Now I can run a search and look at the volume and keyword variations Google will suggest. After Google runs a search, hopefully a significant amount of keywords with their monthly local traffic will show. My results actually are different than what Google defaults to. I've set up my results to only provide 2 bits of information. First, I only want the monthly local search in the United States. Often, Google's keyword tool will also show the global traffic, which doesn't help me at all. Google also defaults to the competition found in AdWords for these keywords, which again are not for SEO, so I omit them. The second column of information I request is the approximate cost advertisers pay for the keyword when advertising with Google. This metric doesn't impact SEO either, but it helps me understand even more than the competitiveness exactly how valuable the keyword is. Doing this helps me uncover keywords that have low volume but obviously potential value. Again, it's not always about how much traffic a keyword provides. The final step for me is to actually download the keywords I've discovered, which is found on the drop-down here. Another option on this list that I can do is add these keywords to my keyword ideas. This basically is a list that you can create while doing multiple keyword searches. However, I found it to be really buggy, so I just downloaded each search and added the keywords to my starter list. If you followed all these steps, you should have quite a comprehensive list of keywords that show an estimation of traffic from Google. Before I do the next and final step, I like to go through my starter list and delete all the keywords that show no traffic. When I did this for HerbalDoc, it whittled down my keywords from 26,000 plus to a little over 2,000. Again, this is good. We want to have a list that we can manage, and 26,000 is not manageable. Now I like to use Bing to try to find any keywords I may have missed. Notice I'm not using Bing to look at traffic. Even at 2,000 keywords, my list is still too big for Bing. Bing can only handle 200 keywords at a time before it breaks, which is a major flaw of Bing's. Another annoying flaw is that when I add my 200 keywords, Bing only shows me the traffic results of 20 out of my 200 keywords. Yet even with these problems, Bing still has a purpose. I have often found some great long-tail keywords using Bing, so when possible I will use Bing for my keyword discovery phase. I generally will look at the results from Google and create a mini starter list by choosing the best of Google's keywords and putting them into a new tab in my Excel file. After I have these keywords, I will add them into Bing's keyword tool. For HerbalDoc, I used a little over 100 keywords for this phase. Like Google, I put my settings to the results for the United States and English. Unlike Google, Bing actually can give me more than 30 days of data. However, I'm not using the tool for traffic numbers just yet. I will in a moment, but for now I am just curious about additional keywords so I don't worry about the data range. The final thing before searching is to select the checkbox titled Strict. This is equivalent to Google's match types. When checked, Bing will closely look at only the keyword, but if unchecked, Bing will treat it like Google's broad match type, where it will look at variations of the keyword. Now I will search the keywords and see what the results Bing can offer me. One thing I will point out is the appeared in search column. Even with all of Bing's limitations, it beats Google in one important way. It shows the true results in its search engine. As mentioned earlier, Google only gives estimations, and as a bit of foreshadowing for part 2 of this module, this feature in Bing will have a major impact when I show how to do keyword analysis. Obviously, since Bing doesn't show all its keywords in its tool, it is important for me to export the keywords out of Bing and into my starter list. So that's the 5 steps I went through to find the best keywords for HerbalDoc. You will find that as you go through my process that there is no one right way to find the best keywords. This process works for me, but I encourage you to try additional tools and services, because you will quickly learn what you want and don't want when it comes to keyword research. With that said, I have put together a rather comprehensive list on additional ways to find keywords. I have used every technique on here and promise that if you have troubles finding the right keywords, that one of these tools will help you overcome any roadblocks. Also, I used a link shortener due to the length of many of the URLs I was sharing. You will see this URL for all the modules. The letters PLW are my initials, and I am the owner of this domain. So to wrap up this module, I want to reference the story I shared at the beginning. One of the biggest mistakes I've made in SEO is to assume I know exactly what people are searching for. If I had been diligent in my SEO, I would have saved my company quite a bit of money. Next, it's important to not overlook your objective keywords. You will find that these keywords will be a boost to your marketing goals. Building a keyword list can take time, but by utilizing modifiers and extenders, you can quickly build a vast database of possible keywords. Finally, there are a lot of ways to do keyword discovery. Take advantage of the many free tools available to you on the internet.